Hey everyone, this is Andy Pichonen, Andy Pichonen Speaks. Today, let's talk about Back to the Future Day. For those who don't know, Back to the Future Day celebrates the day Marty traveled to the future, October 21st, 2015. In this timeline, the producers predicted there will be flying cars, hoverboards, and Cubs winning the World Series over Miami. This led to Marty screwing up the timeline when he bought the Gray Spokes Almanac for gambling purposes. Doc caught wind of it and tried to get rid of it. And once again, Biff snatched the almanac and hijacked the DeLorean, leading the way to the alternate 1985. Now, there were many problems with that storyline, but for now, I want to focus on the Cubs. The Chicago Cubs had the longest championship drought of all time. The last time they won was 1908. So much so, it was a Hollywood Square question with the late Gilbert Gottfried. And yes, it's that episode. In addition, they haven't won the pennant since 1945, and there was a superstition curse regarding the Billy Goat. And yes, that has been the scapegoat ever since that day. Fast forward to 2015 when the Cubs made it to the National League Championship Series after all these years. People have speculated it was their time after the Red Sox and the White Sox broke their drought years prior. It is painful for me to say this. Cubs didn't win on Back to the Future Day. Instead, it was the Mets that swept the Cubs to get the pennant in the National League Championship Series. Mets fan has never shut up about this particular event. And yes, they were also responsible for spoiling the Red Sox drought in 1986. The Mets went on to the World Series only to lose to the Kansas City Royals, which also broke their drought since 1985. Ironically enough. So yeah, the Cubs lament for another season, another disappointment. That's until we get to 2016. Once again, the odds were against them because they were playing against the LA Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. They too denied their playoff run in 2008. And somehow their fortunes changed when they got the pennant for the first time since 1945. Now we come to the World Series where the Cubs overcame the deficit to force a Game 7 against Cleveland, which they too had a championship drought since the 40s. In that moment, for the first time, the Chicago Cubs won the World Series. Yes, the prediction was off by 1 year, but it was that moment that shook the entire world. Unfortunately, that moment was short-lived when another event happened a few weeks later. You already know what it is, so I don't have to explain why you should vote. Anyway, this is Andy Pichonen Speaks. 100 to 1 shot. Who would have thought the Cubs would have made it? If I'd known that DraftKings was around that time, I'd probably put my money on the Cubs.